Today I'm going to show you how to create actions in Photoshop and use them to batch process a series of images. I have a collection of images here that I'm using to make a storyboard, and I would like to resize each of these and save them as JPEGs. So I'm going to go in here, and if you notice, each frame has been saved with a series of numbers on the end. First one being 00 at the end. This is to make sure Photoshop knows which order to open up the files and resize them. So then we have 01, 02, 03, etc., etc. So I'm going to open up the first frame in the series and open. Now we're going to create a new action by pressing the new action button, and we will call this action frame resize. And hit record. Photoshop will now record everything that we do to manipulate this image so that we can play it back later. So firstly, I would like to resize this image. So we'll go to Image, Image Size, I choose %, and I'd like to make this maybe 25% of its original size. Or that might be a bit big, so we'll make it 20%. And hit OK. Now I'd like to save this file as a JPEG. So we go File, Save As. Make sure you navigate to a separate folder to save the images. I'm going to save this in the Frame Resized folder. I'll keep the file name as is, but I'd like to change from PSD to JPEG. And click Save. And hit OK. And then press Stop to stop recording the action. I'm going to close this one. And no, I don't want to save it. We're now going to use the batch process function in Photoshop with the action that we've just created. So we'll go to File, Automate, and select Batch. And where it says Action, we'll choose the Frame Resize action that we've just created. And we'll select Source as Folder. And we'll choose the location where all the images are stored that we want to process, which is storyboard frames. Then choose the folder that we would like them to be, which is called Frames Resized. So, OK. Now, as you can see, Photoshop is opening up all those files and resizing them and saving them in the folder that we told it to save in. Okay, now I'll just go and have a look at that folder where I've saved all these resized frames through the batch process in Frames Resized, and as you can see, it's saved all of the frames, resized them, but it's also saved over the Photoshop files as well, and it's also redone the first frame which we did earlier when we made the action. So we can delete that first frame, and I'll also delete all of the Photoshop files because the originals are stored in the other folder, so I don't need them. But as you can see, actions are a great way to make your work process in Photoshop a lot simpler, especially when you have a whole series of files that you might need to resize or apply filters to. And here we are, we're left with all of the frames that have been resized and are now saved as JPEGs.